Hey, do you think saying "I don't know" makes you look weak at work? I used to believe that too, until reality taught me otherwise. It was my first time on a ship as a young cadet, and it was my first time being promoted. And just like many new leaders, I thought being in charge meant always having the answers. Well, one afternoon during a routine maintenance check, a crew member asked me a question about the ballast system. I didn't really know the answer, but I gave him my best guess anyway. To kind of save face. Well, it turns out my guess sent us down the wrong path. We spent the rest of the day troubleshooting a problem that didn't exist. And by the end of the watch, we were frustrated, behind schedule, and needless to say, I was embarrassed. That was the day I learned a valuable lesson. Saying "I don't know" isn't a sign of weakness, it's a sign of honesty. And when you follow it up with curiosity and the will to figure things out, that's when people really start to trust you. So, let me tell you about someone who got promoted after saying those 3 words. I don't know. Welcome back to All About English Mastery, and this is our 3rd episode of 15-Minute Mastery. Thank you so much for joining us. So, let me tell you about Alex. Alex was a mid-level analyst, a hard-working guy, very smart, but quiet. One day, he told me about a team meeting where the boss asked him a tough question. Now, instead of fumbling or making something up, like I did, Alex calmly said, "I don't know, but I'll find out." Then he actually did find out and emailed a clear answer to the whole team that same afternoon. And in that moment became the turning point in how the team viewed him. He wasn't just another quiet analyst anymore. He became the go-to person for reliable answers. So, what makes "I don't know" such a power move? Let's talk about it. A lot of professionals feel pressure to always have the answer. I've personally seen it many times. People either freeze, like a deer in the headlights, or fake it, just to avoid looking unprepared. But the truth is, pretending to know something often makes it worse. A bad answer can cost time, money, or even credibility. Not a good thing. So, it's not about knowing everything. It's about knowing what to do when you don't know. So my suggestion is, say, "I don't know, but I'll find out." And then actually follow through. And that follow through is really the key, because when you circle back with a clear answer, you're not just solving a problem, you're showing that you're coachable, you're curious, and invested. I remember one guy on my team who said, I'm not sure, but I'll get the details after lunch. And then he came back later with a full solution and even suggested improvements. That's leadership. And sometimes it's not about getting back later. It's about keeping the conversation going. So we're going to talk about a few phrases that are especially helpful for English learners who want to sound confident and professional, even when they don't have the answer. So if you ever get caught off guard, here are some of the phrases that I'm going to share with you. Let's start with, I'm not sure, but I'll check and let you know. Okay, this sounds like you're being accountable and you're going to follow through with the issue. Another good phrase, that's a great question. I'll look into it. Okay, again, you're validating the other person and promising that you're going to take action in the future. Let me confirm that before I give you a final answer. Yeah, sometimes you might know the answer, or you think you do, but you're not 100% sure. That's a useful phrase. Let me confirm that before I give you a final answer. How about, I don't have that information on hand, but I can get it. Okay? This shows that you're resourceful and you are really good at it. Another option with this is, that's outside of my current scope of work, but I'll connect you with someone who knows more. All right? This shows that you're a team player and you are connected with your team. But how about we break it down a little bit further and say, let's answer what someone should actually do when you don't know the answer. All right? So first off, don't panic. I know you get the question. Don't freeze. It's totally normal to not have all the answers. And people will respect you more than if you give them a bad guess. They're going to respect your honesty. So understand that you don't know all the answers, or you might have a point where your mind goes blank. So pause before you respond. Take a breath. And this will help you maintain your credibility. People are going to go, oh, okay, he's honest or she's honest. You're an honest person. All right, next up. Acknowledge clearly. You can say something like, hey, that's an excellent question. So you're validating their question. Then be transparent, be honest. But I'm not really certain. Okay? But I will find out for you. I'll find out. That keeps the momentum going. It shows you're taking it seriously without trying to fake it. All right? It's very important. All right. Next, we're going to offer a next step. Okay? So, say something like, let me look into that, right? And I'll update you by the end of the day. Or I'll email you by tomorrow. You're offering a specific time period for following up. Very useful. Okay? Another option is redirect to another expert or to another colleague. I'm not sure. Let me look into it. Or, you know what? I think my colleague Jane might know. Let me confirm with her. I'll check, right? And show some initiative and say, I'll research it and get back to you later. And research is so easy these days. I don't know if you've noticed, but there's these wonderful things called AI out there. If you're looking to do research, there's a lot that are free, there's some that are paid, and they're all very, very good. If they can access the internet, you can do great research with OpenAI, ChatGPT. You can do some great things with Perplexity. Perplexity is really good too. I use that instead of Google most of the time. So don't be afraid to do the research. It's a lot easier now than it used to be. All right, the next one is ask questions. I personally love asking questions. If you don't know something, you should definitely ask. I remember when I was a kid, my father used to always say, look it up, when I would ask him questions. Maybe he said it because he was too busy to answer, but it taught me to always be curious and always look for the answers. So definitely, here's a ask a question like, could you clarify that a bit? Asking a question like that gives you more time. It gives you a chance to think. It helps you to fully understand what is being asked. You can finally go, oh, because sometimes you just don't know. Someone might say, oh, I don't know about this. Try asking questions. You'll get answers every time. All right. Step 5, express your curiosity and desire to learn. Say, I don't know yet. That little word yet shows that you're open to learning, and that's a really strong message. Okay? It shows that you have a growth mindset instead of a closed mindset. You're willing and open to growing. All right? That's the kind of thing that gets you noticed by managers as well. It also demonstrates your own humility. You don't think that you know everything. You're open to learning from others. Try it out. Okay, step 6, always follow through. This is the clincher. If you say that you'll get back with an answer, you've got to do it every single time. That's how you build a reputation for being dependable. Okay? Really. And it's going to multiply the trust that people have with you. Remember, I don't know doesn't mean you're not smart. It means you're smart enough not to make things up. So, if you're listening, take this as a permission to pause, reflect, and promise action. That's what great communicators do. So, when was the last time you said, I don't know, at work? Did it lead to something better? Make sure you drop a comment down below, and I'd really love to hear your story. So this is, like I said, what real leadership looks like. Uh-oh, what's happening here? Okay, when you are a leader, you want to take responsibility. That's what asking questions, saying I don't know. You can address issues directly without having any excuses. If you fake it, if you make up your answers, that's not taking responsibility. That's not being prepared. Okay? Again, pairing honesty with action. Credibility comes from doing what you say you're going to do. So, when you make a specific promise like I'll follow up, make sure you deliver on the promise in the time that you said you're going to do it. This also builds reliability. Okay? When someone says, trust me, I often don't. I don't always trust because trust is built over time. You can't just say, oh, I'm a trustworthy person. No, you have to show people that you're trustworthy. So if you do this consistently with your actions, you're going to earn a very strong reputation at work. All right? And now it's time for the Mastery Minute. Have you ever messed up at work and you just want to disappear? Me too. But here's why you shouldn't. So I once worked with a junior engineer named Sam. And one time he botched or messed up a section of a report. Not really huge, but it still cost time and a little extra money. What I liked about Sam was instead of making excuses, Sam goes to his chief engineer and says, whoop, that was on me. I'll fix it. Right? Very simple, direct, with no drama. And guess what? His boss trusted him even more after that, because he owned it. All right? This was his chance to fix it. Own it means taking responsibility. You take full responsibility for something, good or bad. You know, that started off as sports slang, but now it's leadership gold. That was me shows courage, and it earns respect. So, what's a moment, just one, where you had to own? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear your story. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground today on how to communicate with confidence and authority. So the key takeaway is, say, I don't know. Oops. I'm going the wrong way. Okay? Say I don't know, because it's a sign of strength, not a weakness. Be the person who goes and finds out. I encourage you to try putting this new communication technique, if it's new, put it into practice this week. Even a small change can make a big difference. Okay? Be sure to visit the website, allaboutenglishmastery.com. You can actually read the blog article that this live was based on. And you can join our community. Sign up for the weekly newsletter at the website. And remember, confident communication is a skill that can be learned. Keep practicing, and soon it'll become second nature. So, next time you're unsure, don't hide. Own it. Say, I don't know. And then go be the person who finds out. Because that's real leadership. Okay. And next Monday night at 9:30 p.m. Korea time, we are getting into the topic of polite email phrases. How to sound professional, respectful, and confident with just a few simple lines. And if you want to get a head start, check out the blog post now at allaboutenglishmastery.com. And I will see you then. All right. I have got to log off because we're actually overtime tonight. We went over our 15 minutes, and I have a class in about 12 minutes. So I won't be able to do our normal question and answer time. So have a great weekend, and I'll see you.